Hello everyone, welcome to the Readers. Today we are going to see about Mahatma Gandhi's support for Harijan people. Mahatma Gandhi had rightly said that we won't be getting freedom even for 100 years if untouchability was not eliminated from our country. He called them as Harijans, which means children of God. He even did satyagraha so that they could enter into temples, they could access the public wells, tanks, roads, and even they could be able to go to the school. He cleaned the toilet by himself so that he can give respect and dignify the work of a sweeper. He even asked the upper caste people to give up untouchability. Due to the harmful practice of untouchability, the Dalit leaders had organized themselves into a group and they started demanding for reserved seats in educational institutions and even a separate electorate for the election. According to them, only through political empowerment they will be able to solve their social disability problems. And so they didn't participate in civil disobedience movement. Let us see about a person who is also known as the father of Indian Constitution. He is none other than Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He formed an association known as Depressed Classes Association in the year 1930. He clashed with Mahatma Gandhi at the Second Roundtable Conference at London. He demanded for a separate electorate for the Dalit people. Even though British had accepted to the demand, Mahatma Gandhi opposed and he started fast unto death. According to Gandhiji, if separate electorate is given to the Dalit people, then the integration or merging of the society would become slow. Even Ambedkar accepted Gandhiji's point of view, and finally they signed an agreement or pact at a place called Pune, which is present day Pune. So, Pune Pact was signed in September 1932. According to it, reserved seats were given to the Dalit people in state and central legislative councils. Muslim political organization. There was a lukewarm response or minimal response to civil disobedience movement by the Muslim political organization. The reason was the decline of non-cooperation Khilafat movement. It made them to feel alienated or isolated. In the mid of 1920, Congress got associated with the Hindu religious group, which further worsened the relationship between Hindus and Muslims. There were often communal clash and riots which deepened the distance between Hindus and Muslims. Congress and Muslim League even tried to negotiate in the year 1927. The important difference was over the representation of Muslims in future assembly. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was a prominent leader from Muslim League, was ready to give up the demand for a separate electorate. He wanted reserved seats in Central Assembly and representation according to the population in Muslim dominated regions of Bengal and Punjab. The hope to solve the issue between Hindus and Muslims disappeared at the All Parties Conference in 1928, where M.R. Jaikar of Hindu Mahasabha opposed for a compromise. When civil disobedience movement started, there was already distrust between the communities. Muslims felt that their culture and identity would be completely submerged under the domination of Hindu majority. We have reached the fourth part of history lesson Nationalism in India, which is the sense of collective belonging. Nationalism started spreading when people believed that they are from the same country. They have united struggles, they have a shared culture, and hence they discovered unity among themselves. Identity of a nation was symbolized by an image. The first image of Bharat Mata was created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. He wrote Vande Mataram in the year 1870, which was included in his novel Anandamath. Vande Mataram was sung during the Swadeshi movement in Bengal in 1905. Abhanindranath Tagore, who is the nephew of Rabindranath Tagore, painted image of Bharat Mata. The image which he painted was calm, composed, divine and spiritual. Slowly, the image of Bharat Mata got circulated in the prints such as newspaper and magazines. Bharat Mata's image was being painted by different artists. The devotion to the mother figure was seen as nationalism. During the 19th century, nationalists started recording folk songs, legends in order to know the true traditional culture. Legend is nothing but a story which has been passed from one generation to the other generation, which may have historical basis, but it is not authenticated. In Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore collected nursery rhymes for the children and myths. Myths are those stories which justify our religious belief and social custom. In Madras, Natasha Shastri published a 4-volume book which was a collection of Tamil folk tales in the name The Folklore of Southern India. In 1905, during the Swadeshi movement in Bengal, a tricolour flag was used with the colours red, green, and yellow. It had 8 lotus, which symbolized the 8 provinces of British India. It had a crescent moon, which symbolized the Hindus and Muslims. In the year 1921, Gandhiji designed a Swaraj flag with the colors red, green, and white. There was a spinning wheel in the center, which symbolized the ideal or principle of self help. Carrying the flag and holding it high was seen as a symbol of defiance or opposition. British saw Indians as backward and that we are not capable of governing ourselves. But Indians looked into the past in order to find the achievements and the development which slowly declined in British rule. The readers were urged by the writers to struggle for freedom. These efforts even then had a problem. The problem was that the past which was being glorified was Hindu. The images which were used were Hindu, and hence other communities felt left out. Hope you have understood the topics. Go through your textbook. I'm sure you would score well. If you like the video, click on the like button. If you want to be notified when we upload a new video, do subscribe our channel. If it was beneficial to you, do share it with others. Thank you.